Hi friends, welcome back. In today's video, we are going to be doing a 4th of July dress. I know I'm late to the game, but for 4th of July and like being in that season, but we're still gonna do it. I bought some fabrics for this dress about probably over 2 years ago, and I finally decided to put it together. So we're just going to do kind of like a patchwork with all of these fabrics that I've purchased. I've got some different colored blues in there, solids, and some like prints, and then reds, and obviously some whites too. And I think I'm going to start off with a white just as the base, as the top, and then do the patchwork on the bottom as like the skirt portion, and then probably just do like spaghetti straps. So let's go ahead and get started by cutting out the fabric. The white fabric pieces that I used were fat quarters, so they're pre-cut. And then the other fabric, like the red and the white that I have, were just a fourth of a yard pieces that I had cut at Joann's. So I used the fat quarters and I cut 7 by 7 inches, and then using the remaining pieces, whatever I had left over from that fabric, I just added those in as well. So then I'm just going to take a 7 by 7 square with a rectangle and line it up however I saw fit and I liked the colors together. And then once we've got all of those added and in the design that I wanted, I went ahead and added a square to a rectangle and then sewed one side up. And then once all of those are sewn up, I then took the two pieces together and sewed them together. Basically, I'm just going to sew everything and make sure that each piece is connected. And then I did some white solid pieces, and I made sure that I had two pieces overlaying each other because they were a little bit more see-through than the other fabrics, and I did not want the dress to be fully see-through or see-through in any spots, so I did layer those twice. And then this is the last piece that I'm going to sew together, and it makes basically a loop all the way around. The first layer is done. For the skirt, we're going to go ahead and pull it inside out, and this layer is vertical. All of the panels are going vertically, and so the next layer I'm going to do horizontally. I'm still going to do the 7 inches, but then I'll just do whatever length I have left in the fabric and so some of them will be 12 inches, some of them will be another 7, 8 inches, whatever I've got left, and I'll do that vertically. And then I obviously made this one longer than my waist because we're going to make it more of like a scrunched and a little bit more ruffled. And then each layer will be a little longer so that it's like really poofy at the bottom. And then for the top layer, we're going to do that material that I showed you at the beginning. We're going to do this, and I'll probably keep it at about that length right at the waist. And then I'm thinking if I've got enough material to continue it in the back and do maybe tie-ups if I've got enough material. It doesn't look like I might not have that much material left of this exact one. So either I do this with a mix of this one. This one's kind of like, I don't know if you can even see, but it's got like polka dots. Yeah, I have no idea if you can see that. And then this one is more of florally leaves kind of design. But I don't think it would look horrible if I did two different ones to be able to tie it in the back, because I do think that would be really cute. But once I've got this, because it's going to be the top layer, I am going to line it with just some lining fabric. It's just stretchy. Although the cotton doesn't stretch, this will be the lining, just so that it's not see-through. This layer is basically the same thing, where I am doing a 7 by however long the material has left. And then these ones we are going to lay rectangle length and sew them up as well, and then sew it all together, make sure every piece is sewn together, and then make another loop. Once that second section is sewn together, I then just added the right sides together from the first section and the second section, and then we're basically just going to line up the edges. So like from the top section, because the second section is longer, you're going to line up each halfway point, I would guess. So like the middle sections, and then once you get to the edge, you're going to line up the top and bottom pieces together for each middle piece. I know it's hard to explain, but hopefully the visual, you'll be able to capture what I'm saying. And then we're going to sew those pieces together. And anytime that there was a lot of extra fabric, we're just going to fold it over and make little pleats, basically adding little pleats in the whole skirt, so that it's more ruffled, because the two pieces obviously do not match up. And this will give it the extra poof. I've got the two layers together. And I realized afterwards that when I was saying vertical and horizontal, it didn't really make sense. But I meant the like rectangles being vertical and horizontal. So like this way, hopefully it makes a little bit more sense now that they're put together. You can kind of see that these ones are a little bit, like the second layer, they're a little bit more longer than the first layer. It kind of looks like that. Like maybe, I don't know if that's real. In my head, that's what it made sense, but maybe it looks a little bit better on this backside with this longer one. Makes a little more sense. Anyways, so this layer is done. Now we've got the top to finish and then the bottom layer, and then I think we are done. And the bottom layer is done the exact same way the top layer was, so I'm not showing too much of it. Basically, we're just going to make another loop just like we did the top layer, sewing all of those pieces together. And then I also did the squares with the rectangles again. And this one is just, I added I think I added 2 more squares and 2 more rectangles so that it was bigger on the bottom, obviously. for the top, I just cut out the length that I wanted for the front side of the top, and then I'm also going to cut the exact same length out and width out of the inside, the inner layer, so that like I said, doesn't make see-through, and also it gives it a good lining. So I cut that out as well. And then we're just going to sew right sides together just at the very top. Once that's done, I'm going to do an understitching line with the lining fabric to the seam allowance, so that when I fold it back over, there's not going to have to be a top stitch on the front of the fabric. I then used the leaf fabric and cut out 2 back pieces that were about the same length as the top, and then also going down into a little bit of a diagonal so that I can tie them. And I did 2 of those, one for each side, and then I also did 2 for the back using the lining fabric. Once I've got all of those cut out, we're then just going to put the right sides together and sew along each of the edges, leaving an opening where we're going to connect it to the front side. That way we can pull it inside out. And then we're going to do a top stitch all the way around on both sides. Sorry, not both sides of the fabric, but both sides. So we're going to do the left and right side of what's going to be on the back of the dress for the tie portion. But we're just going to top stitch both of those. I then added the top sections together where we haven't sewed yet and sewed those together, making sure that the top sections are matched together at the very top, making sure that they're lined up together, and then sew those down. And I'm using this little gadget that I got on Amazon, and seriously, it has been a lifesaver. So I'll go ahead and link it in this video for you guys if you do want it as well. It just makes my lines a lot straighter because I'm not very good at keeping my lines straight. So if you have that problem, this has been really helpful. Okay, the top is now finished, and then we can just tie it in the back. I'll probably just do like a little, not a bow, but just like a tie. Like that. Obviously I'll do it better, but, and then let's just go ahead and add the skirt portion. So, the skirt, and I think I want this to be the front side, so then we're just going to connect this with the skirt, and I think I'm going to cut off about an inch of the skirt, and it'll probably only go down, scoop this up, and then add it to this portion to the front, and then the back side will be obviously just hang down a little bit because I've got the tie. So the back was going to hang down, and we're going to put some elastic through it. And so the elastic will go through just the back side, and then on the front side it'll go and connect here. So let's go ahead and do that. With that extra piece that I cut off, I am taking a seam ripper and ripping these apart, and then I cut them basically in half, and I'm going to fold along about halfway and then sew those up so that I can make some straps, because I totally forgot to do that before I sewed everything up on the top. So I did forget that I was totally going to add straps to the top, and so it's not just a strapless. But with that 2-inch section that I took off of the skirt, I made some straps. I just need to flip them inside out, and then we can add them to the top. Now, since the top is already stitched down, I don't know if I should just add a little stitch to it on the back side. Like maybe if I add, like put them right there and then stitch them through this side, just through that back side, I think that'll work just fine. I'm now going to add the elastic to the back side, and I just took a piece that was going to be about the size when stretched, but not too stretched, to measure out the back side that I needed it to be. And then I'm just going to measure that out for the portion, so basically half of the dress. So clipping it to half of the dress, and then we're just going to, when we sew, pull the elastic really tight so that when the fabric is on it, it'll scrunch up using a zigzag stitch all the way through. And then I am also going to use these little pleats, just like we did in the other ones, just as we are pulling tight for the elastic as well. I know that you can use pins or these little clips that I'm using if you want to for your own dress, but I just do it as I sew. I make the pleats as I go, and I also pull it tight as I go. But that's just how I like it, but you can definitely use pins and clips. And then to sew the top on, I just put the right sides together for the top portion and the skirt portion. And basically I left a little bit of a lip on that very front section of the top. And we're going to sew that section to the skirt. And of course, we're going to be adding pleats again for this so that it scrunches up. The dress all finished. I think it turned out absolutely incredible. I love the happy accident that we did with these straps so that they are patchwork as well as the skirt. And then the beautiful bow in the back with the scrunch. And I think it just turned out absolutely incredible. Also, you could wear this backwards, and I think it's so cute and super flattering. I love that this scrunches still, but yeah, this is probably one of my all-time favorite dresses that I've ever made for myself, or outfits in general. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you guys in my next video soon. Bye!